Beyonce for sure. I love her. I love Beyonce. Jay-Z too, I really admire the both of them.
Uneducated gangster rapper, that's all she could come up with.
The internet is on fire with one question that could change everything we thought we knew about the most carefully protected dynasty in pop culture. Word is spreading that Beyonce is devastated after court papers allegedly confirm Kelly Rowland's son, Titan, is not who the world believed him to be. The whispers say he is actually the biological child of Jay-Z. If true, it's not just a family scandal, it's a betrayal so deep it could split apart friendships that began in childhood, unravel the foundation of Destiny's Child, and send cracks through Beyoncé's carefully polished image as untouchable, unshakable, and above it all. We're talking about a secret that, if exposed, could rewrite 2 decades of music history, love stories, and public devotion with one shocking twist.
I know so much on how you got where you are, how you stepped on many people.
Imagine the impact on Beyonce, a woman who has built her entire empire on the narrative of loyalty, strength, and control. She has stood by Jay-Z through publicized affairs and messy confessions. But this? The idea that her best friend, her so-called sister, carried a child that belongs to her husband? That isn't just scandal, it's shattering. We've been told that behind closed doors, Beyonce is reeling, that she feels the walls of her private kingdom caving in. Court documents, the kind we are told should have stayed buried forever, reportedly surfaced and sparked the online frenzy. Screenshots and snippets leaked, their contents immediately feeding speculation that Titan's parentage was the family's darkest secret. Whether authentic or not, the damage is already being done, because the suggestion alone cuts at the heart of Beyonce's carefully curated image.
Even more genius.
Beyonce.
Gorgeous. A stab to my self-esteem.
The internet didn't waste a second before jumping on what they see as evidence hiding in plain sight. Side-by-side images of Titan and Jay-Z began circulating like wildfire, the comparisons framed with captions claiming the similarities are undeniable. The jawline, the nose, even the subtle expressions that echo Jay-Z's younger photos, it's enough to send fans into a spiral. Some insist the resemblance is too strong to ignore, others argue it's coincidence, but the debate has turned viral. We've all seen this before. When the public decides a resemblance proves the unthinkable, it's nearly impossible to put that genie back in the bottle. And for Beyonce, who lives in a world where every image is curated, every photo released with intention, having her husband's face mirrored in her best friend's son becomes a storyline she can't control. Adding fuel to the storm, people have started revisiting Kelly Rowland's 2013 track Dirty Laundry. At the time, the song was praised for its raw vulnerability, its confessions of abuse and struggle. But now, fans are dissecting the lyrics through a new lens, suggesting that Kelly was dropping hints all along about a secret love triangle. Lines about betrayal, manipulation, and hiding truths in plain sight are being interpreted as coded messages. Is Kelly using music to vent her turmoil while masking it as metaphor? Did we all miss what she was really saying because the truth felt too outrageous to consider? Industry insiders point out how often artists lace reality into their work, and in this case, the resurfacing of Dirty Laundry feels like a breadcrumb trail people were never meant to follow. Until now.
I want to ask you about Jay-Z's album.
I think it's genius. Like all of his projects, I thought it was really great.
And then there's the money trail. Rumors claim Jay-Z has been quietly sending payments to Kelly's family since 2014, the very year Titan was born. That detail has exploded online, with fans speculating whether these were generous godfather gestures or calculated hush funds designed to keep a dangerous truth from spilling. The timing raises every possible eyebrow. If Jay-Z was sending regular sums, how much did Beyonce know? Was she complicit in the silence, or was this a betrayal unfolding right under her nose for nearly a decade? The thought of Queen Bee, the most in-control figure in music, being blindsided in her own home is almost unthinkable. Yet that's exactly why the rumor has such power. It plays into the fear that even the strongest can be brought down from within.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
This revelation doesn't exist in a vacuum. Jay-Z has a documented past of messy entanglements and unresolved scandals. He's admitted to stepping out on Beyonce before, famously using music as therapy when their marriage nearly collapsed. Entire albums, hers and his, were built around confession and recovery. But if Titan really is his son, that narrative shifts from a story of marital survival to something far darker, a long-running deception not just against his wife, but against the woman Beyonce has always called her sister. How do you recover from that kind of betrayal? We're not just talking about a marriage at stake here. We're talking about the erasure of Destiny's Child's legacy as a sisterhood built on loyalty and unity. Fans who grew up idolizing their bond now wonder if every smile and every embrace on stage was hiding an unbearable truth. People are revisiting old interviews with Kelly too, like the time she left a dinner with Beyonce and Jay-Z in tears, offering no explanation. At the time, fans chalked it up to overwhelming emotions, the nostalgia of their bond. But in the current climate, it's being reframed as a possible crack in the facade, a moment where the weight of secrets became too heavy for Kelly to mask. Every cryptic look, every red carpet run-in with Jay-Z that went viral is now being analyzed for hidden meaning. Did Jay-Z's stunned reaction when he bumped into Kelly at that premiere really show sibling warmth? Or was it the awkward shock of facing someone tied to a truth he's tried to bury?
At that time, I remember thinking, I can't be mad at her because that is what the media portrays.
And then there's the brutal irony. Just months ago, Kelly was singing Jay-Z's praises after he called out the Grammys for snubbing Beyonce. She told reporters, "Sean Carter is one of the greatest men I know, and his words ring so loud to me." Now that statement is being replayed with a sinister undertone. Was she protecting him, covering for him? Or was she simply speaking as a loyal friend, blissfully unaware that her praise would someday echo in a scandal she never asked for? The internet, of course, doesn't let coincidences slide. The quote has become yet another piece of the puzzle, fueling theories about how deep the bonds and the betrayals might run. If Jay-Z truly has been funneling secret payments since Titan's birth, it raises an even more pressing question. Has Beyonce been aware all along, quietly absorbing this storm to protect her brand, her children, her empire? Or is she discovering this the same way the rest of us are, through whispers and leaked papers? Either scenario paints a devastating picture. If she knew, she has been living a performance more intricate than any tour choreography, maintaining the illusion of perfection while privately enduring betrayal. If she didn't, then Beyonce, the woman who taught us all about control, has been blindsided in the most personal, humiliating way possible. And either way, the silence from everyone involved only thickens the air with tension. What happens to Destiny's Child if this rumor refuses to fade? Their legendary image as sisters united against the world is already splintering under speculation. Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle built a brand on friendship and loyalty, a bond that outlived chart battles and solo careers. But if Jay-Z is tied to Titan, the nostalgia can never be the same. Fans who once saw them as untouchable role models are now asking whether Destiny's Child was a storybook cover hiding a very different reality behind the scenes. And for Beyonce, who has positioned herself as the queen of modern pop royalty, this isn't just about music, it's about legacy, marriage, motherhood, and whether the empire she built can withstand secrets that feel too big to bury.
I don't have no felonies, I'm not crazy and none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts. And it seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of. That's it.
And when we step back from the chaos of Titan's rumored paternity, a darker pattern begins to emerge, one that fans and critics alike are revisiting with a fresh lens. Jay-Z has never been a stranger to whispers about secret children and hidden liaisons. Years before Titan's name ever entered the conversation, there was the saga of Rimier, a young man who fought for years in court claiming that Jay-Z was his biological father. The case dragged through appeals, with Rimier insisting he had been stonewalled by legal maneuvering and financial power. At the time, many dismissed it as opportunism. But in the wake of the Titan revelations, those old headlines are resurfacing, being stitched together into a larger narrative that suggests Jay-Z's empire was built not only on music and business acumen, but on an ongoing ability to bury personal scandals before they took root.
Is it really a conspiracy if the same person keeps benefiting off the same kind of tragedy over and over?
This isn't the only cloud hanging over his past. Allegations about his relationships in the 1990s and early 2000s, particularly the controversial rumors linking him to younger women in the industry, are being dragged back into the spotlight. Nas even threw fuel on the fire in his infamous diss track, dropping lines that implied Jay-Z had crossed boundaries with protégés like Foxy Brown. She herself has repeatedly denied these claims, dismissing them as fake news, yet the whispers refuse to vanish. Fans are pointing out how Jay-Z was nearly 30 when he began appearing alongside teenage artists, how he blurred the line between mentor and partner in ways that now look unsettling when placed against the backdrop of Titan's story. The question many are asking is simple but heavy. Is this all part of a long-running pattern of control, secrecy, and manipulation that the industry chose to ignore because of his unmatched power?
Oh, no, that was it. No, when I get nervous, I tell the truth.
We can't ignore how the public's trust in Jay-Z has already been shaken before. His own music gave us confessions of infidelity, moments where he admitted he nearly lost Beyonce. That saga, which played out across Lemonade and 444, was framed as a tale of redemption, a man acknowledging his mistakes and a woman choosing forgiveness. But now, that carefully crafted redemption arc looks fragile. If Titan is his son, then the story was never about redemption at all, it was about concealment. What fans are beginning to suspect is that Jay-Z's pattern isn't one of learning from mistakes, but of mastering the art of covering them until they fade from the news cycle. And with each resurfaced rumor, the cracks in his king-like image grow deeper.
The family out tonight is a family affair. I saw your mother-in-law so proud of.
Yeah, we support each other. That's what we do.
This takes us straight to Beyonce's family, because where there's silence this loud, there's usually someone working overtime to hold the pieces together. Tina Knowles has long been positioned as the matriarch not only of Beyonce's life, but of Destiny's Child as a whole. She has called Kelly Rowland her daughter, written glowing tributes about her, and presented herself as the glue binding this surrogate family. But in light of the Titan scandal, fans are revisiting Tina's role with suspicion. Could she have known more than she let on? Did her instinct to protect Beyonce's empire lead her to shield Jay-Z from scrutiny and, by extension, push Kelly into silence? It would not be the first time a powerful matriarch orchestrated damage control behind the scenes. Every polished family photo, every warm tribute, now carries the shadow of a possible cover-up. We have to ask, has Tina been the quiet architect of the Carter Knowles image, managing not just Beyonce's career, but also the inconvenient truths that threaten to unravel it?
But after that major documentary comes out on Diddy, then you're going to start to hear more and more about Jay-Z and his nefarious past, okay?
We've seen Tina fiercely defend Beyonce from critics and celebrate Jay-Z's achievements with glowing words. That loyalty has often been framed as love, but now it's being read as strategy. Think about it. If she knew Titan's secret, keeping the family brand intact would require silence at all costs. For Beyonce, being blindsided by her husband is unthinkable, but being betrayed by both her partner and her mother's complicity, that possibility adds an even more devastating layer. It transforms this from a marital scandal into a generational one, suggesting that the entire Carter Knowles dynasty has been protecting a truth too explosive for public consumption.
You understand? I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their brand.
Meanwhile, Jay-Z's history with controversial figures like Sean Diddy Combs and the lawsuits swirling around those circles only deepen the suspicion. Whenever new allegations hit Diddy, Jay-Z's name somehow floats to the periphery, sometimes mentioned, sometimes swiftly removed from legal filings. Fans have noticed how often he seems to be present on the edges of chaos, but rarely pulled into the center. Whether it's quick legal maneuvering or sheer influence, the result is the same. His name is cleared, his empire remains intact, and the whispers move on. But the Titan rumor refuses to fade, and it's forcing us to connect dots across decades of stories that once seemed unrelated. The question isn't just whether Titan is his child, it's whether this entire pattern reveals a blueprint Jay-Z has used to escape consequences time and again.
You know, I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than everyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work.
Beyonce, on the other hand, has always relied on silence as her greatest weapon. She doesn't do messy interviews, she doesn't rant online, she rarely explains herself. Instead, she lets her art speak, lacing her albums with hidden messages that fans dissect for months. Lemonade was her way of addressing infidelity without ever uttering Jay-Z's name in an interview. Which raises the burning question, will she address Titan in her next project, or will she double down on silence, refusing to validate the scandal with even a hint of acknowledgement? The world is waiting to see whether her upcoming ventures, her film projects, her music, her public appearances contain coded messages about betrayal, motherhood, or fractured sisterhood. If history is any guide, Beyonce will not stand behind a microphone and explain. She will drip-feed symbolism, and it will be up to us to decode whether the rumors left scars she can't hide. For her, the stakes couldn't be higher. Her legacy has been built not just on music, but on image. She is the flawless queen, the untouchable star, the wife who endured betrayal and came out stronger, the friend who lifted Kelly Rowland and Michelle Williams alongside her. If Titan really is Jay-Z's son, all of that mythology fractures. Suddenly, she is no longer the woman in control, but the woman betrayed not only by her husband, but possibly by her best friend and even her mother. And for an empire that has been sold to us as perfect, the illusion of perfection may be harder to repair than the marriage itself.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry is filled with gangsters.
Fans are already predicting that if Beyoncé does respond, it will be seismic, a visual album drenched in symbolism, a cryptic lyric dropped into a performance, or perhaps a sudden shift in her public alignment with Jay-Z. After all, Lemonade didn't just give us music, it gave us cultural moments, catchphrases, memes, and an entire movement of women re-examining their own relationships. Imagine the impact if she were to do the same about betrayal within her own family circle. The cultural explosion would be unmatched, shaking not just the music industry but the very idea of celebrity loyalty and image management. What we're left with is a storm of speculation, unanswered questions, and an empire wobbling on its throne. If Titan's paternity is truly linked to Jay-Z, then the Carter-Knowles dynasty is facing its greatest test yet. Can Beyoncé forgive a betrayal this layered? Can Destiny's Child ever be remembered the same way again? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, how long has this secret been hiding in plain sight, and who among their inner circle helped keep it buried? So we have to ask you, do you believe this is the scandal that finally cracks Beyoncé's empire wide open, or is it just another rumor that will be swept away by silence and spectacle? Drop your thoughts below because this story is far from finished. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the biggest secrets are the ones hidden right in front of us.